So here's the current setup. Here's the driver's side. I gotta get, new wheel cylinders or rebuild kits. I'm probably gonna get new, but the shoes are down to the bare metal. The pads just kind of sloughed off when I got the drum off, but I don't have this hardware in here. You got these brackets that bolt down to the spindle, and then they pin in place like a retention pin right there. And that's what holds the shoes on, and your springs are what pull it back and forth. But it basically just mounts behind the spindle here, and that's what holds those on. So if I come over, oh, that's the passenger side. And there's my temp setup because I don't have a small enough battery to fit in the tray. That's from my El Camino. So it's running to the starter, and then I've got ignition power to a power block. Yellow is the alternator, and then you've got coil wiring going down yonder into the ignition switch. This is all labeled and has been capped to prevent sparks with electrical tape, so capped and stowed. That's just hanging there, so that would be, for whatever anybody wants to do with that, if I get to it. But over here, notice we have some things missing. I think somebody cut this to make room for disc brakes at some point and didn't finish. But back here, it's supposed to have those brackets back here, and it does not at this time. So I'm gonna get new wheel cylinders, and then either have the brackets made or make them myself and put it back together that way. But yeah, she's coming along, and she does fire. Oh, but was having trouble with fueling, so this has been taken apart. Just the top just comes off with screws, and everything that's needed. Spray has gotten spray and soaked, and hopefully that should take care of it. Otherwise, I'm gonna swap this one. I've got another carburetor to go on there, but this one's fairly recently rebuilt. It just sat for a year. So there's the screws, there's the top, there's some fuel, my cleaner, yeah. But the interior, I don't know if I ever showed you that, it's unfinished. Tranny goes there. There's a tunnel plate basically that bolts down over the top of that. That's where your shifter comes through, your e-brake comes through there, and I've got all that pretty much ready to go. But that's not on yet. I've still got to treat that. I've got to clean and treat this part of the floor. There's your ignition switch. That's a short one. I got the wrong one. If I get a longer one, it will fit right there. But this is all got to get cleaned, and then I'm going to treat this with either some Por 15 or something, and I'm going to make it probably a gloss black. The other half of the floor has got to be treated as a semi-gloss or a flat, and then the fuel tank is pretty much loose and ready to come out. It's just pulling it, and treating everything behind it. So this is all going to get the same treatment, the Por 15, the rust stopper, and just cleaned up generally, and so that it stops it from rusting anymore. But that's where it's at. The gauges were in horrible shape, so it's either going to be new ones or I'm going to have the other ones rebuilt. That's where it's at.